Hello and hi. So now we will continue our lesson to chapter 5, part 3. Okay, we have several types of function. First is no return value and not receive parameter. Second one is no return value but receive parameter. Third is return a value but not receive parameter. And the last one is return a value and also receive a parameter. Okay. So for example, no return value and also not receive parameter. So you can see void. Okay. So void means that we will have a no return value and also the parameter is empty. So it also not receive a parameter here. Okay. Next one is a no return value but receive parameter. Use a void. Once you use a void, so we know that it will have a no return value, but it can receive a parameter when in the bracket we have a parameter here, integer h. Okay, so the value received by this function is used in the cout statements in this function. Okay, so the value will be used here. Okay, next, return a value but not receive parameter. Okay, for example, we have a float, find modulus. Okay, and in the bracket, it's an empty bracket. So float number, okay, modulus result. So cout enter one number, it will store in the num, and then modulus result equals to num modulus by 2. So it will store in the mode result, and it will return mode result, the value returned by this function. Okay, so mode result is the value returned by this function. Next is return value receive parameter. Okay, so for example, we have a float, calculate average. We have a float num1 and we have a float num2, number 1 and number 2. So this is what we call as a receive parameter. So float average equals to number 1 plus number 2 divided by 2. So the values received by these functions are used in the calculation. Okay, so the value received here is used in the calculation here. Okay, and then it will return average. So the value returned by this function is average. Okay, so this is the exercise 1. You can do and submit through Google Classroom. Okay, getting data to and from function. When the function is called, the data in the parenthesis or called argument is passed to the receiving function. There are three ways to pass data to functions: passing by value, passing by reference, or passing by address. Okay, passing by value, pass a copy of the value in the variable to the function for it to use. If the variable is changed within the function, the original copy of the variable in the calling function remains the same. Okay. Passing by value, for example, okay, we have here using namespace std void. Okay, this we call print value integer j. Okay, so in the main function we have integer I equals to 2. So the value before the function is I. Okay, so it will print value 2. Okay, So you'll pass a copy of value I to variable j. Okay. So it will pass this value to variable j to this variable. Okay. So void print value integer j. Okay. See out the value passed to this function is j, which means number 2. Okay. So as we know j times 2, 2 times 2 equals to 4. The value at the end of the function is 4. Okay, so this statement will change the value of j. Passing by reference, pass any change to make pass any change you make to the variables back to the calling function. Okay, there are several rules that you need to follow. Precede the variable name with an ampersand. Okay, we have ampersand here. Use only when data needs to be passed back to the calling function. Okay. So for example, void get value. Okay, we have this function get value. We have a float. Okay, this is a and sign and income, float and expenses. Okay, so enter this month's income. Okay, so we'll store in income. Enter this month's expenses, so we will store in expense. Okay, passing by address used when you want to pass an array to a function. Actually, it seems like you pass by value, but what C++ passes is the address of the memory where the array begins. Any change made to an array in the function remain when the function is complete. Okay. So returning value, void function not return any value, float function return float value, integer or int function return integer value, char function return character value. Okay. So for example 1, float calculus, float Celsius to Fahrenheit, float Celsius. So we have a float Fah. Okay, we declare FAHR as a float. So FAHR equals to Celsius. Okay, this is the mathematical. Okay, and then it will return FAHR. Okay, or return FAHR. Okay. Example 2, Celsius to Fahrenheit, float Celsius. We have return Celsius there. Okay. So as example 1 and example 2, it returning Fahrenheit value. Okay, returning the Fahrenheit value. Okay, so what is the difference between example 1 and also example 2? Okay, so you can see example 1 we have to declare float Fahrenheit and the return. Okay, so we have three programming lines. Okay, but in the example 2 we only have one programming line. Okay, so depends on you if you used to use this type of function. Example 2 is okay. You also can use example 1. Okay. So exercise 2, analyze the following program fragment. What is the output of the program fragment? Okay, you can do it. Okay. So this exercise 2, you can do and submit to me through Google Classroom. Okay. So I think that's all for today. I hope you enjoy learning C++. Bye.